Dr. Strebe. I thought this video would help introduce week 3. I was thinking about what topic to use for the video, but it's a little different for me. Yours was to tell us who you are and what your major is and what your field of interest is in some area within that field. So I thought that this would be helpful to introduce week 3, which is writing a business letter collaboratively. And I want to talk about the 3 fundamental things that are involved in any rhetorical situation, which is just a fancy way of saying anytime writing or speaking is required to impart information. So, and this may be a recap for some of you, but fundamentally there are 3 things that you need to ask yourself before you do any writing of any type, and that's, who is my audience? To whom am I writing or speaking? It could be a formal audience, it could be informal, an individual, a group of people. Then, once I know who that is, what is my fundamental purpose? What do I want to impart to that audience? Do I want to merely inform them? Do I want to, which is more difficult, persuade them to consider an option or a plan of action? Or am I just sort of reaching out to get feedback and investigating maybe a central question or a problem that I'd like to have some possibilities in answering? Once I've determined who I'm writing to and what my purpose is, then what is the best format for that? And I use examples in the classroom with some of my other classes in public speaking and comp. And I talk about writing a letter for a scholarship for one of the students. So the audience would be the Indian Hills Foundation here at Indian Hills Community College. And it would be, more of a formal consideration for that letter. The purpose would be to inform them about that student's rock star status and why they're deserving of one of their scholarships. And then I ask them, so what would I send them? And usually I don't get much in the way of responses, but I say, would I send them a poem about that person? And they say no. Or a blog. I could send them an email, but as we all know, and many of you are already in the business world, that's more for work communications, getting work-related things done. So no, I would send them an old-fashioned letter. I would type it up formally and dear Indian Hills Foundation, it is my pleasure to wholeheartedly recommend so-and-so for one of your fine foundation scholarships. And then I would find out more about that person and include that in the body. And then I would have some nice sign-off, like respectfully submitted, and then my name with enough room for me to print it out on letterhead, on Indian Hills letterhead, and then provide my signature. I would triple fold it, I would put it in an envelope, and I would send it to the foundation office. So kind of an old school type of letter compared to a lot of the communications that we have today. But week 3's focus is for you to collaboratively write a business letter. So, that's essentially what you're going to be doing, which is more of a formal consideration to your audience, and it's going to have all of those components that I suggested in my letter for the scholarship. So, pretty much, we can not be concerned with this because you are going to be writing a formal letter. I believe the guidelines for that in your textbook are on page 287. But it's really these considerations then that you and your teams will be trying to figure out who the audience is for that, what do you want to tell them, and even within that purpose, how do I best tell them that information? What language do I use to tell them what I want them to know? And then with that said, once a good draft is written, then obviously another focus of this week is the revision and editing strategies that you have. Because first drafts of things are good, they're good ideas, there's a lot of language that probably works, but it's sort of going at it as a tactician and looking back through what you've written maybe finding better ways to say certain things, asking yourself what works well and what doesn't work well, and then going through maybe several rounds of revision in that process. So good luck this week, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.